Worship the Mayor.
Please be seated. Croeso i cyfarfod llawn y gwniau. Welcome to full council. Please note that this meeting will be recorded for subsequent broadcasting via the authority's internet site. The images and sound recording may also be used for training purposes within the authority. The public seating area will be in view of the camera, and by entering the chamber and using the public seating area, members of the public are consenting to be filmed until possible use of those images and sound recordings as outlined above. Welcome to the council chamber, Wednesday 18th of December. We go on to item 1 on the agenda. No? Okay. Any apologies for absence? Councillor Roberts.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Kevin Gibbs sends his apologies. He had an operation on Friday and he's recuperating.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Cheryl Drago sends her apologies. She's been taken ill this evening.
Councillor Rogers, I think he's on his way, but he said he might be running a bit late.
That's it. So thank you. We go on to item number 2. Any declarations of interest? Regarding sections A and B. We're going to the open session.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members, there is listed on your agenda, there's to be a presentation from South Wales Fire and Rescue Authority. We've had some hasty discussions with them, which some of you may have observed earlier on. It became clear during those discussions that what they want to present to you is quite an in-depth and extensive piece of information, which would require you to be able to ask questions and engage with them quite directly. They want to discuss budgets, they want to discuss things in quite a lot of detail, and they say what they've done in other areas is not necessarily come to council, but to engage with councillors in other fora. It's taken them about an hour to do that in each time they've had those meetings. So what we've discussed with them is that your agenda for this evening would make it very difficult for you to have that sort of in-depth discussion with them and then move on to consider all the business that you have to deal with tonight. And on that basis, they've agreed that they will not give the presentation this evening, but they've asked us to organise something in the early new year in the form of a workshop. So you'll have more chance to have an interaction with them and ask questions. So you won't not have your presentation from them. It's just it'll be done in a different way in the early new year.
Thank you. We're going now to item 4 of the agenda, the minutes of previous meetings from 4A to 4M. Can I have a move on second? Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I refer members to page 17 of the report, and specifically regarding recommendation 2.18.1. A member requests a recorded vote in relation to recommendation 2.18.1. It doesn't state what the recorded vote was for. I understand it was proposals for car parking increases, so can I ask that that's included within the minutes? I think in the interest of openness and transparency, if members of the public were to view these minutes, they wouldn't necessarily know what the recorded vote was for.
What we'll just need to do is check the recording and make sure that's exactly what it was for, because off the top of my head I can't remember. But yes, we can. You're right, it needs to say what it was for, so we can do that.
Councillor, to move the minutes, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I move the accuracy of the minutes, items 4A to 4M?
I second.
Thank you. Can we vote on that, please? Thank you, members. That's complete and carried. We're going to notice of motion. Item number 5, the Dying to Work campaign. Councillor Roberts, take this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Dying to Work campaign is a campaign that's been going for some time with the various trade unions, and quite a few other local authorities in Wales have joined this campaign. Many workers get serious illness at some time in their working lives. They may require time off, often many months, to get treatment or recover. There is good guidance that has been produced by the TUC and others to deal with cases of long-term illness or return to work for those who are disabled as a result of an illness or injury. However, sometimes there is no effective treatment. In these cases, the worker may face a time of huge emotional stress, fear and uncertainty. Trade unions can try to ensure that when that happens, they try to remove any additional stress and worry. So the motion, Mr. Mayor, is as follows. We recognise that terminal illness requires support and understanding and not additional and unavoidable stress and worry. Terminal ill workers will be secure in the knowledge that they will support them following their diagnosis, and we recognise that safe and reasonable work can help maintain dignity, offer a valuable distraction and can be therapeutic in itself. Excuse me. We will provide our employees with the security of work, peace of mind and the right to choose the best course of action for themselves and their families, which helps them through this challenging period with dignity and without undue financial loss. The Council resolves that we support the TUC's Dying to Work campaign so that all employees battling terminal illness have adequate employment protection and have their death in service benefits protected for the loved ones they leave behind. I move, Mr. Mayor.
Is that seconded?
I second that, Mr. Mayor.
Members, any questions? Any comments?
No.
Can we put it to the vote, please? That's complete and carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tuesday, 22nd of October 2019, a post appeared on the Labour Party Facebook page. The official from the Labour Party page referred to the electorate in Merthyr Tydfil in highly derogatory terms. This authority will not tolerate the people of Merthyr Tydfil being referred to in such a disrespectful way. Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council resolved to write to the Right Honourable Jeremy Corbyn MP, the leader of the National Labour Party, to insist on an apology for the people of Merthyr Tydfil. Thanks, Mayor. I move.
I second, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions? Councillor Clive Jones.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask on a point of order and clarification? We've got no objection to discussing this motion, but in relation to the rules and regulations laid down by PERDA, the Local Government Association issued updated guidance on the 2nd of December, and I quote in one of the paragraphs there, headed Legal Basis and Official Guidance: the pre-election restrictions are governed by Section 2 of the Local Government Act 1986 as amended in 1988. And essentially, council should, and this is in thick black print, not publish any material which in whole or in part appears to be designed to affect public support for a political party. It also says, under another paragraph which is headed Think Carefully, you should always think carefully if a campaign could be deemed likely to influence the outcome of the election, and in such cases you should stop or defer them. An example might be a campaign on an issue which has been subject of local political debate and or disagreement. This was published at 3 on the day before the general election. All I'm asking for clarification is whether this complied with all the up-to-date rules regarding PERDA.
Yes, okay, and you're right, because technically, therefore, it was published whilst we were still in the pre-election period. I imagine that that confusion arose because it had been deferred from an earlier meeting. This you can see from the date of it that it was due to go to an earlier meeting, which I think we ended up cancelling. So yes, there is a technicality which says that this shouldn't have been published during the pre-election period. You're not in a pre-election period now, obviously, in dealing with it, but the papers were published during that period. The way forward, I would suggest, is that you could defer it, because then it would need to be republished to be considered at a later date. But I would urge everybody to think about the content of this motion and just how many times it's already appeared in papers which have been presented to the public, so that now, if you defer it from today, it will go into, I anticipate, because I anticipate that Councillor Barry will want to produce it again, it will go into papers in the future. Now, there's one issue with regard to asking that the Right Honourable Jeremy Corbyn write the response, as we know that he is now no longer intending to remain in the leadership position in the Labour Party. So it would give the opportunity for amendment of that. But yes, it's technically a breach of the pre-election period.
So you've answered the question really and truly, because we were in PERDA right up until and including election day. This should not have been placed on the council agenda. Am I correct? I sincerely, this won't happen again.
Are there any more questions? No. Any comments? Councillor Dan Roberts?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to make reference to the timeline that went on. Councillor Barry is quite right that a post did appear on Tuesday the 22nd of October. It appeared on a branch Labour site which is administered by members of that branch. It transpires that the person that made the post did it in error. He thought he was doing it on his own private page, but nevertheless he made the comment. That was the post was saw by another admin of the actual branch, who then took down the post and put an apology up for that comment. The admin that made the post was put on the naughty step, if you like, and was removed as an admin for that page, and it transpires that they resigned from the Labour Party of their own free will following that. Now, I'd like to stress, Mr. Mayor, that that comment that was made is not representative of the Labour group. It is certainly not representative of the constituency Labour Party, and it is not representative of the Labour Party as a whole. It was made by one person, but it was unfortunately made via their page, like I said. So, got no problem voting on this tonight. If Council wishes to write a letter to the Right Honourable Jeremy Corbyn, or whoever the leader of the Labour Party is at that point, that's fine. But I would like the minutes recorded to say what I've just said, that the comment is not representative of the Labour group, the constituency Labour Party, or the Labour Party. Thank you.
Are there any other comments?
So, we're on comments only. No. We're on comments only. We dealt with questions. Yeah. Any other comments then?
Yeah, Councillor Ewers.
Now you've got comments.
Yes, I'm quite frankly quite amazed at this has come before council. that some rogue member then of the a branch party wrote something which I don't know what it was. I'm being asked to agree to the sending of a letter to a gentleman I'm sure has got other things on his mind and dealing with petty matters like this. Quite frankly, I find it amazing and extremely childish that we should be doing this. Surely we have far better things to talk about at the moment. The leader has said that we shouldn't be using Facebook and airing our dirty linen in public. The leader himself has put something on Facebook a while ago, which quite frankly I find shocking, but that's another thing. But I really do think this is appalling. I shall certainly be voting against it, I don't care what else does, but it's so utterly childish.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, I'm a firm believer not speaking just to repeat what somebody else has already said, so I wasn't going to say anything, but what the heck. As someone who's not unknown to the monitoring officer in relation to social media posts, I think I'm fairly qualified to speak on this matter. Mr Mayor, without a shadow of doubt, it was a reckless and appalling post. There's no doubt about that. This has been recognised by all. An apology was immediately given by the local branch and by the local constituency parties. That particular poster had enough awareness of wrongdoing to take responsibility for actions and resign. That doesn't happen when stuff is put on other party Facebook pages, obviously. And Mr Mayor, this is coming at a time when one of the two signatories of this notice of motion has asked Welsh Government to help heal the fractious relationship prevalent within this council. Well, this is very helpful, isn't it? Obviously, everybody else needs to play nicely together, whilst the two signatories take political advantage of what everyone agrees was a stupid and untrue comment. For people who claim to have no politics, they very quickly master the dark arts of dirty politics. Very Machiavellian behaviour. Mr Mayor, there's absolutely no reason at all for us to oppose this puerile notice of motion. We will let them have their fun. But make no mistake, Mr Mayor, people will read about tonight's two notices of motion, one from the Labour group to help terminally ill workers, and that will undoubtedly be contrasted with this political point-scoring piece of nonsense. Mr Mayor, maybe now we can get this mischief, because that's what it is, out of the way, and let them get back to trying to run this authority.
Any other comments?
If there's nobody else, then Andrew can close the debate. There's nobody else?
No. Close the debate.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The notice of motion has been brought, not because of mischief between members, but because of an attitude towards the people of Merthyr Tydfil. And if we don't stand up for the people of Merthyr Tydfil, then who is going to stand up for the people of Merthyr Tydfil? Take what's been said by the members of the Labour group. I noticed no apology coming forward tonight from them either. We're getting used to that. I think we need to move on.
Thank you, members. That's complete and carried. Going to item number 7, committee report revision to the minimum revenue provision policy, and it's Councillor Andrew Barry.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This evening, the revision to the minimum revenue provision policy is the first of 4 financial reports relating to accounting adjustments, management of our accounts, and issues affecting future income from council tax. The minimum revenue provision is what we charge to our revenue account on an annual basis to account for the cost of our debt in any financial year. Welsh Government updated its guidance in 2018 to include 2 alternative options for providing finance for our capital debt. Our Treasury consultants, using statutory guidance, the Chartered Institute for Public Finance and Accounting, CIPFA, and the consultation with Welsh Audit Office, have approved an annuity method of provision as described between 4 and 4.5, page 63 of your papers. A consequence of this more prudent provision results in a significant saving over the medium term, as highlighted at Table 1 at 5.2, page 64, and detailed at Appendix 1 and 2. This excellent piece of work, yet again from Steve and Adele, brings us to the recommendation at 2.1, the revision of the MRP policy for 2019-20 financial year from a provision based on the asset life equal instalment method to one based on the asset life annuity method be approved. I move, Mr. Mayor.
I second.
Any question with Councillor Clive Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If members go to 1.5 under the summary report on page 61, it refers to the significant budgetary saving over the medium term, equating to 861,000 for 2019-20. But surely that can't be the total figure until the 31st of March 2020. There's about 106 days left of the financial day. So what is the actual saving in this financial year? And also, if you look at the recommendations, you then refer to the revision of the MRP policy for this financial year. It doesn't mention anything then as to, it mentioned in 1.5 that there's the estimate savings of 823,000, but that's not mentioned in the recommendations, and my question is whether that figure should be in the recommendations for the next financial year.
Right, okay, thank you, Clive. If I could start then with what you've indicated in 1.5, and I can confirm that that £861,000 is the saving for this financial year. It's for the whole of the financial year. And in respect then of why we haven't put in recommendation 2.1 next year, that is because it's every single year and we come to council and we have to have the policy for that year approved. So when we come to council in February or March now next year, and again then we'll be asking for that to be approved.
This figure then, Mr. Mayor, obviously hasn't been taken into account, the 861,000 up to now, because obviously I understand you've had to have discussions with at least the Wales Audit Office to clear it, and that's the reason why we couldn't take it into account before now.
Any more questions? Any comments, members? If not, we'll put it to the vote, please. We're going to item number 8. Treasury Management Outturn Report 2018-2019, and this comes Andrew Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Outturn Report is a SIPFA code of practice requirement that outlines the Council's performance in respect of the authority's management of cash flow, banking, money and capital market transactions, associated control of risk in relation to those activities and pursuit of optimum performance consistent with those risks. The Treasury Report is at Appendix A for the year 2018-90 and includes our borrowing activity, Treasury investment activity and performance, and gives an economic background, financial markets and credit background. Recommendations at 2.1, the Treasury Management Outturn Report for 2018-19 be received, and 2.2, the actual 2018-19 Treasury indicators be received. I move, Mr Mayor.
I second, Mr Mayor.
Any question, members? Any comments? Can we put the vote in, please? That's complete and carried. Thank you, members. The Treasury Management Half-Year Review Report. Once again, is Councillor Andrew Barry.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The half-year report is almost exactly the same as in format as the previous report. The difference you'll find is the Treasury Management Report at Appendix A, as it refers to, the half-year activity to a position as at the 30th September 2019. The single recommendation of 2.1, the Treasury Management Half-Year Review Report for 2019-20 be received. I move, Mr Mayor.
I second, Mr Mayor.
Any question, members? Any comments? Can we go to the vote then, please? Thank you, members. That's complete and carried. Going to item number 10, the council tax base for 2020-2021, and again it's Councillor Andrew Barry.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is the first stage of the council tax setting process and the last of the 4 financial statements tonight. The calculation refers to the number of banded properties within the authority, taking into account discounts and exemptions. I'll take you straight to the recommendations of 2.1, taking into account the number of properties in each valuation band, discounts, reductions for disabilities and future likely changes in the valuation list that the resolution appended below be approved. And 2.11, pursuant to this report and in accordance with the local authorities and council tax regulations 2004, the number calculated by the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council 2020-2021 shall be 18,450.53 and the area covered by the Bedlinog Community Council for 2021 shall be 1,165.23. I move, Mr Mayor.
I second, Mr Mayor.
Any questions, members? Any comments? Can we put to the vote then, please? Now that's complete and carried, thank you. The next two, item 11, item 12, information reports. We go now into the exempt clauses. Can I propose somebody move section 100?
I move with section 100.
I second it.
Can we have a vote on that, please? Thank you, members. That's complete and carried. So we're going to reopen sessions. Any other items? Item 16 to deal with any other urgent business. The correspondence, I'll hand over to our leader, Ken O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I don't wish to detain people much longer, but I think it would be remiss of me not to mention and make a statement on the Welsh Government's provisional settlement this week. On Monday, the 16th of December, the provisional settlement was announced. It indicated the Welsh local government total review funding from Westminster is nearly 4.5 billion for 2020 to 21, an increase to Welsh Government of 4.3% after allowing for transfers and settlements. This additional money is to reflect the additional costs associated with teachers' pay and pension award. The authority's provisional settlement for 2021 is 96.8 million, an increase of 4.8%. It leaves us in the healthy position as fourth in the settlement table in Wales. Merthyr Tydfil has benefited from above-average increases in our general population and people numbers. Our settlement reflects the current Chancellor of the Exchequer's spending round announcement of September 2019, where he set out the UK Government spending plans for 2021 and the committed increase in the Welsh Government budget of 593 million for the next year. There is no indication of potential future settlements within the provisional settlement. Brexit is likely to continue to dominate the political debate through the next 2 financial years. Wales' fiscal analysis paper of December 2019, in reference to Welsh Government's draft budget for 2021, cautions austerity is over for now. In respect of capita, the general capital funding for Wales for 2021 is 177.8 million, an increase of 2.9%. Merthyr Tydfil's share of that amount is 3.2 million, an increase of 2.1%. We'll prepare a detailed budget report outlining the implications of a provisional settlement in preparation for January's full council. The final local government settlement will be announced on the 25th of February, with no changes anticipated at this stage. Whilst the draft local government settlement was better than expected, the continued reduction in budgets has had a major impact on the services that we deliver and has done over the past 10 years of austerity. Having additional resources will enable us to re-evaluate the delivery of services in the short to medium term. Working with Welsh Government to develop on the plans we have in place will also help us transform to be a more sustainable and effective council. We still face challenges. We are not out the fire yet. Therefore, we need to continue to adapt and innovate, and we must look at ways to transform across the organisation and deliver our services in a much more effective and efficient way. With a committed workforce and working together in the same direction, and with the excellent support of local government representatives who have been sent to us to support us and mentor us, I am sure that we can achieve this. May I take this opportunity to thank everyone for your support and commitment over the past 12 months, and wish you all a peaceful Christmas and a very happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Go on to item number 17. To see communication from you, the Mayor. I have only thing to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you very much.